Welcome everyone to another movie chest. This week, talking Seven Psychopaths by Martin McDonagh. This came out in 2012, starring Colin Farrell, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell, Christopher Walken, and some others. But if that's not enough to entice you, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would. But yeah, so this was my pick this week, and honestly, I kind of just wanted to pick another McDonagh movie. I kind of just wanted to watch another one now that Banshees of Inisherin's getting all the love that it deserves, you know? So there's still a couple here that I'm missing. This was one of them, and I think the only one now is Three Billboards. So yeah. I've got most of them now.
Same for me. And I might as well say that I'm like I'm such a huge Sam Rockwell fan, I think, too. Like, I don't know. His
helps
performance
out a lot.
Boosted this movie for sure for me. But also, yeah, I'm like the Martin McDonagh train, man. Like anything that guy makes, I'm there for it now.
Yeah.
I've not been disappointed by one of his movies yet, so
They're just smart, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
The writing was fun of this. The characters were great in this one. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great writer for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you guys think though? Did you enjoy this one? Is it the Martin special?
Yeah, he put the little special sauce on it, put the curve on it. I like this one. I think this is my least favorite McDonagh movie. I think it's his weakest too, personally, but not for like lack of entertainment value. That's not. Right. I'm not saying this is like not an entertaining movie. I think when you just compare it with some of the other stuff he's done, like in Bruges, Banshees, those are just like at a very elevated level in terms of like prestige, and this one's I kind of like had like a Smokin' Aces like grungy vibe in this one a little bit. For sure. And I love Smokin' Aces. That's a really fun movie, but I wouldn't consider that like a prestigious like quality movie, even though it is, but it's like it's trying to be like grungy and dirty and not that good almost, you know. But so I kind of felt a little pull like that in this movie. Overall though, very good movie. Exceeds most action movies that you'd see for sure.
It is his like it's my I don't want to say my least favorite, but it's like if I was to rank them, this would be the bottom.
Right,
just
if you had to.
It's not a masterclass like his other ones are, where it's just like I don't know, mind blowing with the writing, directing, all that stuff. But it's just a fun fucking movie. I mean, it's hilarious. It pulls off the twist, I think, pretty well in the end. I mean, I don't know. I enjoy it. It's just a fun movie, so that's why I tag it in that group, like what you said, Smokin' Aces, or just a generic action movie that's quick, you know, witty, fun, bullet train type, you know.
Right. I thought the rewatchability of this one was like super high compared maybe to some of his others, where it's like, you know, Banshees I want to really sit down and enjoy. In Bruges, kind of similar. I don't know if Three Billboards is, but I'd assume it with the Oscar attention it got. That's probably similar.
Yeah.
So I was like this is like after the first hour, like basically after you find out Sam Rockwell's character is one of the serial killer, like the masked serial killer.
Yeah.
I was like worried it was gonna drag, you know, like getting like around to Colin Farrell's character to like learning that.
Yeah.
But it kind of didn't. It kind of like they kind of like let that loose early in the desert, which really I think propelled like the final act, the final shootout. That was really fun the whole time. So it was like it was like paced well and like I was like I could throw the sound enough in the background, just catch funny bits and pieces of it.
Definitely,
there's some funny bits in this. Like
to me, I found it to kind of dip a little bit in the second half, mostly because it's like self-aware. He's telling you that he wants the back half of the movie to be just kind of dudes talking, you know?
Yeah.
So he like exercises that for like 30 minutes or so. And then it obviously goes back to the shootout because it's like, it's not going to end in a shootout. No, it's got to end in a shootout. But so the first half kind of like jets. It's like really, you know, he's getting the engines of the story in place. He's introducing all the psychopaths and stuff like that. Then once it flips to the desert, it kind of just takes a little bit to kind of rev back up, but once it does, it didn't feel like a dip for too long for me, but I did feel kind of slightly something there personally. But
I was surprised, and I laughed, I giggled when he like Colin Farrell's character basically kind of explains how the rest of the movie the script that he's writing should go. And I was like, oh damn, they're really just like laying out like what to expect in this ending here. Like
McDonough like spitballing the ending in the script, you know.
Right.
And I mean,
everyone can write this movie, man. Walken's
taking the stab. Yeah. But to me, a big feature of McDonough writing is, especially in Banshees, I got to rewatch In Bruges because it's been a while since the first movie Chest or whatever, but his scripts, you can feel him like discovering the story. To me, I feel that really a lot in his movies. Like it's like I want to say he started with this first scene in Seven Psychopaths. It's like the two hit men, kind of like this goony, schlocky writing that you would expect in this type of movie, and then he has a mystery character come in and just blow their heads off as if like I'm gonna make a better movie. That's kind of what I got from that, you know, like.
Yeah.
What is it with you today, Tommy? First, it's should we or shouldn't we shoot this chick through the eyeballs, and second, it's you've gone soft.
And from there, he's like using Colin Farrell's character as like a vessel for him. You know, he's a screenwriter, like trying to find the Seven Psychopaths story. So I think he's very successful in like allowing the story to find itself with him along the way. I don't know if he writes it all in one order, but I would say that he writes it mostly like in that way. But
yeah, I get that sense as well, which is like got to be a fun, either super anxiety inducing or a super fun way to make a film. I think that's like a very smart way to like attack a project, where it's like we got a basic setup, like let's feel the characters out and like, you know, balance the scales, like tip back and forth when we need to, and then like figure out how we want to cap it off, like where we want to leave everybody and that kind of thing.
Honestly, I'm not a successful writer, but that's the way I've discovered recently. The best way for me to write is to just discover it along the way. You know, I start with like an idea, as in what's going to be my opening scene to grab the attention, and I just kind of blossom from there and kind of find it along the way. And my last script that I wrote was like my best one, in my opinion, and my wife's, but she has to tell me it's good. So, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know, the way like you just described, you just find it along the way, and I just feel like that's pretty authentic, you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So. To me, I think he like this one I said is a little less successful in the regard. Because like he's finding it along the way, but there's so many threads that he's trying to find or cross that I got kind of lost in this movie. Like they weren't fully connecting. There's like moments where characters are like introducing story elements you don't know are real. He's introducing psychopaths that you don't know if they're actually people or if they're part of the script. You know, like, so to me, this one felt a little sloppy, honestly, about how he was getting there and where he was going along the way. And like eventually at the end, he's like, Sam Rockwell's gonna end it on his terms. I'm ending the movie, you know. Like so he can be definitive in whatever he needs to do still. This one just felt like it was playing like too fast and loose, and like it's discoveries almost too, even, you know. Like it was just too much stimulus story like coming at me almost. But
I agree. It was like the structure. I think that might just be a byproduct of like approaching writing from that way of like discovering it, you know, as you're doing it. Is like there's gonna be some like
offshoots,
disconnects here and there, and like I did find it that like at times early, like maybe in the first 30 minutes, it was just a bit jarring, like figuring out who and when we are, like just like making sense that we are in the same like time and space kind of still, jumping with these stories and stuff. Well, for some of it's just backstory for the psychopaths, but
I
don't know, I feel that the structure is like might be a little choppy, but like some of like Woody Harrelson, I was like almost sold, like I was like about to kind of like write off Woody Harrelson's character as like this other psychopath villain, until he started like crying over his dog in that hotel room, and then like showing up without weapons. I was like, all right, like this guy's
not
like
that bad.
yeah, he's kind of like a reasonable human, right?
Right.
Kind of the way it frames Sam Rockwell. Like there's still like people underneath, like people who like have wants and needs and stuff. So like I think the characters helped sell this one for me a little bit because I did find it a bit jarring at the beginning. I was like, am I gonna be? Is this ride safe?
Ride?
You know, is the lap bar down?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Right.
So
one good takeaway I think is that Gandhi was wrong. I think that was a great takeaway.
It's all bullshit, man.
Life affirming, schweif affirming. It's about 7 fucking psychopaths. Yeah, I mean the dialogue obviously phenomenal in this movie all around. I really liked the end bit where he's like counting down from 5 and he's trying to get his gun. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Can you go back to 5?" He's like, "I'm not going back to 5." He's like, "All right, 5,
4, 3. You go back to 5. I ain't going back to 5, man. I ain't going back to 5. Five.
Like they're just having fun with it, but I thought another good moment, which I think leads back to what you're saying about how the characters kind of sell this. They're tossing around like the psychopath terminology a lot, and I just thought it was funny how it was like a good use of perspective. I thought for the characters, how Woody Harrelson's girlfriend, I believe her name is Angela, she's like, "Don't mess with him. He's a psychopath." And then like 10 minutes later, Woody Harrelson, the person she just called a psychopath, is like saying Sam Rockwell came in and killed somebody or whatever. He's like, "That guy's a psychopath." Like, so it's just like funny how you can think somebody is like the biggest like somebody's the worst character, he's a psychopath, and then that psychopath thinks he's still kind-hearted enough to see a person that's worse than him, you know, like, right. So it's just a good use of perspective and the characters kind of bouncing around and how they're different, how they're the same in this crime world, you know. So I thought Christopher Walken's character was pretty rich too. He like the honorable criminal kind of who's got like God's will on his side, you know, kind of the belief. I just found like that having like a mystical belief with your crime character, I think is just going to yield so many like moments that you can latch onto. Like it's like you can insert kismet moments into your story now where like you're saved by a gun and it's because it was always meant to be, you know, like, and it kind of like harkened back to Bullet Train recently with Brad Pitt. He's on the other side of it where he's like having bad luck and he can't, and ultimately he's on the side of good luck, you know, he's making it out of these situations perfectly. But just having like the little tick inside the character's brain to like bring about a belief that like is central to that character, it's like, I don't know, it fulfills like a lot of roles in like bringing you into the character and into the story. There's a lot of utility and like all around with that for me. That type
similar
of character.
with like Jules and Vincent from Pulp Fiction, you know, that those two characters, and they're both sides of the coin. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I think it was a good idea just introducing the like couple of psychopaths who same thing, like have a set of ideals, kind of, you know, they're killing with a purpose, and like. Yeah, first of all, it's just economic, like adding 2 psychopaths as one, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just smart too, because it was like, oh, like it came back at the end there. I don't know, like.
Yeah, another kind of like knockdown for me on this movie is that the psychopath introduction, which is like very central to this movie, kind of falls to the wayside / doesn't really flesh itself out a lot. Like, I couldn't really tell you who Psychopath 4 or 5 is. And I tried to list them all, too. Like, and I think it's like, there's the Vietnamese priest, and then there's like Maggie and Zachariah. I think those are the 2. And I just wanted to have a little more distinctness. And, I mean, McDonagh kind of cheats with number 7 being number 1. It's a fun little side twist or whatever kind of thing in the script. But overall, I think there's only like 3 psychopaths in this movie. So... what the fuck, man? I came for 7, you know, like, I don't know. It was just like, it could have been a little more juicy, maybe. I don't know. I
could see that. A valid complaint.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think it was successful in being just kind of fun, you know?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
If there's one thing of Martin McDonagh's and like his like the dark humor, man. It's just like approaching all this, the violence, yeah, the two sides of the coin kind of for that. And Banshee is like the prime example, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's very unashamed in
Yeah.
himself as a writer, which is what you mean. He's like not scared, which
Right.
is what you need.
Super refreshing.
Right.
Yeah, like one of the fun lines I found where I was like, man, I don't know if I would write this, but I should. Like it's like he's like, maybe we should call it the 7 lesbians who overcome all their spazzy shit, and there's 2 black guys.
Hey, new idea. How about we change the title from the 7 Psychopaths to the 7 Lesbians who are all disabled and have overcome all their spazzy shit and are really nice to everybody, and 2 of them are black. How about that?
Like
Yeah.
it's like I mean, you want to have that in your script, but it's, I don't know, if it's self-aware enough in the right ways, it can work. Obviously,
Right.
we're like here. I don't know. I also have found weirdly a lot of parallels to Adaptation, which we just watched. I don't know
Yeah, I
if
was
you
just
guys
reading
caught those.
somebody also commented on that, and I'm like, I would like to. I mean, besides the self-aware writing of the.
He doesn't want to end it in a shootout. He wants it
Right.
to be about love. It almost
Right.
felt like his call to what the story is was taken out of Adaptation's call to what Nick Cage says the story is.
Yeah.
Almost like
Yeah.
so, and then the very self-awareness nature throughout about a script writing. I think McDonough kind of had seen that one and wanted to do like this style, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that helped me enjoy this one more because I was like, feels somewhat like an adaptation. Like I'm okay with it being meta if it's like
Right.
for a purpose,
well
kinda.
done.
Right.
it is well done. It's funny because I
Yeah.
think I would have enjoyed this movie more if I hadn't just watched Adaptation.
Yeah.
Strangely, so.
I can see that. Well, Adaptation's like a perfect movie.
It's better for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to kind of see this
It
one
is.
after, but
hard to compare.
but overall, I gave this one I think I'll give it 3.5. I'll give it a rewatch too and kind of see if anything changes for me. But that's where I'm at right now.
On my most recent rewatches, I bumped it up recently, and it stayed at about 4. So that's where I'm still at. So
That's where I put it as well, for
Nice.
which is awesome because nothing of Martin McDonagh's has dropped below that.
Yeah.
So far.
He's a quality filmmaker for
Yeah,
sure.
it's good shit.
Legend.
Well, I'm assuming we'll get to 3 billboards here pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
Stick around
Oh,
for
yeah.
that one, guys. We'll see you then.
Stay gold.